Hi everybody, welcome back to my lab. Today I have for you a little video that I'm putting together that is on lighting. As you know, if you've watched a couple of my videos, I'm trying to improve the quality of my videos, and one of the key aspects is lighting. And so today I'm going to walk you through a little project that I've made, and because I'm going to have two of these, and so yeah, hang in there, and we'll see what we see. All right. All right. Welcome back. So this is my little light that I made up. Let's start with the package. So here we are. We've got the LED lights. These are thin LED. It says that it's 430 watts. That would be the equivalent lighting. Okay, it's 3000 Kelvin, so it's not great, but it's okay. There's no information on the color index, so the CRI, I have no idea. But it does say 600 lumens, and it does say that it's 9 watts. And those I know are per unit. The reason I know it's per unit is because if we take a look at the back of one of these, it tells us that we are 33 volts at 210 milliamps. So a fifth of 33. We can do this. We have a calculator. So we have 33 volts times 210 milliamps would be almost 7 watts, assuming full voltage, full current, which we're never going to see. Okay. So yeah, let's see. This particular one I picked for a couple of reasons. One, it was the warm white, so the color does lend itself a little bit nicer than that crazy blue I really hate. The other thing is that it was a 4-pack, which gave me the opportunity once I started experimenting around whether I had 2 luminaries per panel or 4 or 4 individual ones. It gives me a lot of flexibility, and as you can see, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time mounting these, and the reason being is I'm still experimenting and I don't know what exactly I want. So what do you get in the box? Here's your actual luminary, your LED. It's going to be a COB. I'm not going to crack it open. I don't really care that much, but this is kind of a neat package. So the idea is that you cut a 4-inch hole, and you can simply pop this in, and these little springy guys hold it. And on the other end, we have a bayonet, locking bayonet on a barrel, which is fantastic. It matches up with the power supply. Now, get you out of there. Power supply, nice and simple. A beautiful design. I love this design. You pop it open, and you have your quick connects for your power. You just use a screwdriver to pop these side tabs out, and you can put in a clamp, and of course the output power. And so what I want to do is I've already cut a second one of these pieces of not really sure what you would call this material. It's kind of a really heavy cardboard, mostly glue, I imagine. But we're going to cut 2 holes, and just temporarily I hot glued these on. I get that hot glue is not ideal for something that's going to produce some heat, and I just happen to have a couple plugs laying around from some old appliances. Now these are really lightweight, and I'm not too awfully concerned about it. The reason I'm not concerned about it is if we take a look at the power input and the power output. So I see here that it says 28 volts to 42 volts at 210 milliamps, and that the power input I know is 120 volts. So if I said that if I took let's take worst case scenario, yeah, okay, we'll just say 42 volts divided by 120 times 210 assumes that we're going to see, if we had 100% efficiency, 37 milliamps. And now something like this typically runs about 80%. So I'll say divided by 0.8 means that I expect each of these to draw about 90. We'll call it 92 milliamps times 2 would be a total of 183 milliamps. And so I don't want to see much less than 18 or possibly even 20 gauge to carry that kind of current, and we're well within that range. The other thing that I'm not too awfully worried about is the length of the cord. It's easy enough to use extension cords at this point. Once I make something more permanent for a studio, then I can absolutely bring that into play. All right, so let's take a look at how I laid this out. I'll just set this one aside. All right, so here is my existing piece, and I started to lay out the back, but one of the things that I found was that you definitely want to lay it out from the front, and the reason being, when you start to cut through this material, I mean, if you had a saw, I just don't feel like getting my reciprocating saw out, or no, I don't feel like cleaning the mess up for my reciprocating saw. You'll find that if the side that you're cutting from is nice and clean, and the back side can tend to break out with this material. If you're using plywood, you're probably not going to use a knife. But yeah, okay. So I have my Sharpie. Now I have my carpenter's square, and we can start to lay this out. And so you can see it's not quite square. We're 14 by 13 and a bit. And so I will see if we can get this to work. I want to come over 4.5 inches from each side and about center. So if we're 13 and a quarter, that'll be 6 5/8. 6 5/8. Sorry for working in imperial. This is my old carpenter's square, and you don't have any choice. It's imperial or imperial. 6 5/8. And we'll draw a line on here. I'm obviously using a pencil because I want to be able to erase it later. 6 5/8. Boy, that doesn't look square to me. That is nowhere near. All right. Well, let's try again. 6 5/8. That looks better. All right, and we're going to come over, 4.5 inches from each side. And I'll just extend this out a little bit so we can nicely center ourselves up. Alrighty. And what I did was I cut myself a little template here. I didn't cut myself a template. I used the actual packaging to create a template. I roughly marked the quadrants of the circle, and I'll line them up roughly, and with the Sharpie run around. And we're going to remember that we want to definitely cut on the outside of the Sharpie so that the hole is slightly oversized. We don't want it to be too small. And if we get a little carried away with our Sharpie, don't worry, it comes off with a little bit of alcohol. All right, so let me set up here and we'll get the knife onto this. All right. Okay, so here we go. What I've done is I've taken my nice dirty garbage can here, and I'm using that just as a cutting template. And the reason being is I don't want to, well, A, I want to be able to cut through without damaging anything, and two, I want to make sure that I don't cut my hands, because yeah, if you slip here, it's gonna be a bad day. And so you can see I am definitely going wide on this. I want to make sure that I don't have to trim it up too awfully much, and so I'll come out here. You know, that's 2 millimeter. We'll call it almost 1/8 of an inch, and we can cut right through. The reason we're not too awfully fussy about this is there is a fairly large bezel on these lights, and so we can relatively safely oversize this and just rough it in. Oh, son of a gun. All right. Well, that didn't quite work out as planned, did it? Tell you what, if it turns out to be a problem in the near future, I will get another one of these. I have 4 more of them. Kind of saving those ones for another project. Okay, let's see how we are for size. Slide this in here. Hey, winner, winner. All right, I can definitely live with that. All right, we'll put the garbage pail away, and we'll start to look at the other stuff. Okay. Okay, here we go. So we're going to start to assemble these units, and a couple things that I figured out the first time around. So we're going to want to watch these clips. We want to have them actually located so they're not too close. And again, really nice if they're just loose enough that they pop in there, not too sloppy. Okay, we'll rotate these around like so. Fantastic. I can like that all day long. Good. Next thing is that we want to mark out where we want our boxes, and so I'm going to call this up. Okay, and I'm going to mark this one approximately here. Okay, and this one in the same location. Now I'm marking this so that when we put our glue on, again, it's temporary, but we're just going to pop our adhesive on, and we're going to call it good enough for now. Okay, so to the boxes. Ta-da! The magic tool. Okay, so I'm going to bring the power in the bottom here. So I'm just going to pop that out quick as pie. There we go. one. And so I'm going to bring power in here. I'm going to bring power out the other side. And bring power back in here. So the idea being is that it's going to, sorry for all that racket. The idea is the power is going to come in, loop around to this side. We can connect the two LEDs and should be good. All right, so my cord, nice little appliance cord, nothing special. And so we're going to cut a piece of this off about that long, and we'll call it good enough. Alrighty. The trick here is to not cut your fingers. I'm always nicking my fingers, or in this case, nicking the wire. Not happy about that. That's the neutral. We'll call it close enough. Oh, yeah. All right, so we're just being careless here. If you want something done right, you should do it right. All right. Try this again with a little less hurry, a little more speed. All right, so for us North Americans, there's a couple things that you need to know. You might be looking at this cord saying, that's a weird one, right? Blue, brown, green. What's that about? This is a European plug, and I mean, we could buzz this out. But I'll tell you right now that green, the same as in North America, is ground. Brown is your line, and so the expression is touch the brown, you'll go down. Touch the blue. It's kind of cool. Okay. So be aware that brown is not earth. It's actually it's your line, and so it'll lay you out quite nicely. But we're going to be super careful with this. We're going to make sure that we are safe. All right, and so speaking of safe, we're actually going to use some retainers on this. Mostly because I'm worried about fraying, because this is a portable device. It's going to get moved around, and I don't want it to work its way through the sharp aluminum, especially where the knockout tabs are. And so I'm going to locate this with the screws facing down so that I can actually access it. Okay, so these are the things that you do a couple electrical panels here and there. And you start to think about these things after your screws are facing exactly the wrong way. Twist around. Magnifico. Alright, so power in, power out. Now these clips, they're not exactly made for the application that we're using right now. These are made for connecting Lumex. They're ideal for solid copper. The stranded copper that we're using here is going to be able to be pulled out, unfortunately. So For today, I'm going to use these quick connects, but in the future, near future, when I feel that I'm kind of where I want to be with this, I will solder them and heat shrink them, just to be safe. Because the last thing I want to do is have one of these come off, or multiple wires pull out, and I end up having a live box that my children might touch. That would definitely ruin everybody's day. Okay. All right. So there's that, and I need one more grip. Okay, hang on one sec. All right, here I am. I'm back. Yeah, it's super handy to have some standard components laying around. It's a slightly different style. It's a completely different style, but good enough for today. Good enough for today. Good enough. The reason why I was using the other style on this is they are cheaper. I happen to have 5 of them laying around. Originally, I was hoping to get them all, be able to bring the power in and out with the one side. But testing out the last one, I didn't really feel comfortable with it. So here we go. All right. So we'll give it a quick little test here. Make sure that we don't get any sparks before we go gluing things down. There. Okay. All looks good. Just give it a quick little plug here. And I see 2 lights, so I'm happy. I'll unplug this. Close these guys up. Hot glue gun hot. Yeah. So yeah, bought this hot glue gun originally because, well, we're at the dollar store and I thought, well, for $1 something, I often use hot glue to temporarily hold things. The greatest thing about hot glue is how temporary it is. If you've ever wondered how to get hot glue off something, I shall show you momentarily. Now this one in particular is super cheap. Yes, it takes the smaller cartridges. It's fairly low temperature, and that's great because I thought, or when I originally bought it, I thought, well, this will be great. I can let the kids play with it. But I was able to buy the glue sticks for a crazy low price. So when I bought 1,000 sticks, my wife thought I was a little bit insane, but the kids can use it to stick popsicle sticks together or whatever, and I don't get too awfully concerned about it. So definitely check out Amazon for the glue sticks. I'll maybe link that in down below. But yeah, okay. So here we go. I am being about as precise as you need to be, which is not at all. Here we go. Poor little gun's losing its heat. We're putting it on the wood first because it'll take some time to freeze. There we go, back to a normal rate. Now mind, once you put the aluminum on here, it is going to freeze instantly. So get it in the right place. This is one of the other reason why we did the lines. I'll stick it down. All right. Not only is it good, it's good enough. All right. We're going to do some cable management hereafter, so I'll just unplug these for now. There we go. Beauty. All right. So we'll take this one and I'm going to loop this around. Most of our wire is taken up. I'll have a whole lot of issues trying to finagle the wires about. This one we'll just loop through. Back again. And we'll give it a final test. Fantastic. So that's two of them. I'm really not happy with that, but we'll see what we can do later. Now, for the why is hot glue so awesome? Because it's not permanent. Here we go. I've glued my pencil on. I have here a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. If you've ever wondered how to remove hot glue from anything, a little bit of alcohol, let it sit for a second, and it will pop right off without any mess whatsoever. And that goes for pretty much any surface. Great little hack, life hack, found online some time ago. Fantastic. So I'm going to take these two luminaries now. I'm going to go back to my desk and let's give it a shot and see how it looks. All right. All right, so I don't know if there's such a thing as too much light, but yeah, you can definitely see that there was a fair bit of light coming in from my two sources, as well as reflecting off the back wall here, and I'm fairly impressed by this. I can definitely see now that I need to adjust my color balance with my camera. But yeah, I think we're getting along quite nicely here. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, constructive criticism is always appreciated. Give it a thumbs down. If you can leave a comment, what you like, what you don't like, it's truly appreciated. And do subscribe if you like this kind of video, because I am trying to grow this channel, and every subscriber is truly appreciated. All right. Thanks and have a great day.